What's the deal, you guys? What is the deal? This is your boy Scotty by Nature TV, and we're here for one of those. We do this every time it's the end of the year. You guys already know we come back and we recap the entire year. And I tell you guys how I've been feeling this whole year, everything I've gone through this year, all the things that I've accomplished this year. We're going to talk about it all from January all the way until yesterday. Okay, we're gonna talk about it all right? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to do a 2025 recap. Okay. Now, listen, I know that I kept pushing this video back. I know I did. But I pushed it back because Bando had like this big ass 911 and I had to see what was going on with him. So that's the reason why I kept pushing it back. I literally had to call because I know this video was set for 9:35 at first, but he had texted me and I literally called him at 9:15. So I had to see what was going on with that first before I came on here. So I had to make sure that was he was okay. And then I came back, hey Ramon. And then I had to come back and do all that. So yeah, I had to make sure that that was okay before I came on here. Make sure he was all right and all of that other stuff. So, you know, we're gonna be good though. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm always the person, even when it's like a storm of brewing, I'm still gonna try to find, the silver lining. Even when it's hard to find the silver lining, I'm still gonna try to find the silver lining. Y'all already know this about me already. But yeah, we're gonna get this video started at the 5-minute mark. Y'all already know that. And I don't know why, but I really do enjoy doing these kind of videos. It kind of reminds me of my it kind of reminds me of the video that we did on Christmas night. Kind of reminds me of that video. You feel what I'm saying? We were just kicking the shit, just talking about random shit, not talking about no reality TV, not talking about no blogs, not talking about none of that shit, just talking about real stuff. You feel what I'm saying? That's all that we were talking about. So we're gonna do a little bit of that tonight. Like I said, with every live I do, I started at the 5-minute mark every single time. So we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. Now, this is one of them lives where I don't really expect a whole bunch of people to be in the live chat, you know what I mean? But I didn't expect a lot of people to be in it for that Merry Christmas live, and it was over 100 folks in there, So who knows? Are you letting us up? I'm not sure because I'm actually on here later than what I'm supposed to be anyway, because I got to get up early in the damn morning. As a matter of fact, I think I have to be at work at 5 a.m. tomorrow. While I'm on here, let me look at my schedule right now so I can know. I need to set my alarm too. Yeah, 5 a.m. Got to be there at 5 a.m. child. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna let anybody up tonight, but yeah. As usual, if I still want attention. Let me see. But anyway, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now we're going to get into my 2025 recap. 2025, dream chasing, spinning the block, new territories, blocking out negativity, and crash outs. We're going to get into all of those things, okay? So I will say that my 2025 had started on a somber note, right? My 2025 had started on a somber note. Me and Bando had basically, we had been dating for over a year, but then, we kind of broke up last December. So this was like a year ago this month. So I started off the year not really feeling my best, dealing with that, trying to get some understanding, because at the end of the day, I understood why we did what we did. You feel what I mean? Like, I understood why we did what we did, and I understood why the decision was made to be separated for a little bit, because during that time, Bando was going through so much stuff. And it's stuff that I'm not talking about on here because he's not here to talk about it. So if he was here to talk about it, then we could talk about it. But I'm not talking about it on here. But he was going through so much stuff. And I understood why he chose, why the decision was made for us to be separated for the time being. So, while I understood, you know what I mean? And while I, was okay with it, that kind of made me start off my year on a somber type of note. Like, I really wasn't feeling it starting off. Like, I was still kind of mourning that situation. But even though I was mourning the situation, me and him were still like friends. So it didn't really matter. I was just mourning the fact that we wasn't dating. We put a pause on the dating thing, but we were still friends. So I started off the year like that. And then, first of all, shout out to my mods, first of all, before we continue, because I normally shout out every mod that's in here, and I didn't think about it. But shout out to Kimmy, Norris. Well, first of all, Kimmy deserves a shout out first, because that's the first mod I ever met in person. So shout out to Kimmy. Kimmy, Norris, Harold, Feisty, Gabby, Catherine. I think that's all my moderators that's in here right now. But yeah. So I started off in that particular mindset. Like, we was actually joking about it yesterday when me and him was hanging out yesterday. We was actually joking about it yesterday. I said, I looked at him, we was standing on the balcony, and I had told him, I said, we have come a long way from where we were last year. And then, he was just open about all the stuff that he was going through when we were talking to our friends and stuff. And then I was like, this time last year, I was laying in my bed listening to Mary J. Blige and Keisha Cole and Monica and K. Michelle, just crying my little eyes out. But it's okay. And I was so sad. I was not ready for that to end. I didn't want to go on no pause, but we had to. So that I spent most of my January trying to see what could I do to move forward, So February came around and it was time for my birthday. And the Mary J. Blige concert was coming to town. And I had already bought my ticket for the concert. Ben bought my ticket. Didn't realize I was in the nosebleed section, but it didn't matter. I just wanted to go see Mary. And it was great that I went to go see her, because I was going through, we was on pause. So I had to shout out to Prophet, he's in here, and shout out to Ravine as well. She's in here too. And Patches, I'm sorry. Mary J. Blige was just what I needed at that moment. Like that was what I needed. I needed to hear her My Life medley. I needed to hear all that during that time. And that was my personal birthday gift to myself. I went to the concert. And I had a great time. It seemed like every time I go to a concert, I make new friends every time I go to the concerts. But it is what it is. I had a great time. That led up to my birthday weekend, where y'all saw us on live, and we were partying. I had like a house party here. And then, everybody from the chasing panel was here except T. That was the only one that wasn't here, but everybody was here. Jamie was here. JB Says What was here. Sakina was here. Josiah was here. Just about all of y'all faves were here at my, we had that house party jumping. Jay Moore was here. Dominique was here. Troy was here. So many different people that y'all have seen on here were here. Okay. Like, everybody showed, I made everybody, I brought everybody out, what can it say? Bottom line, I'll bring everybody out. And that's exactly what happened. I brought everybody out. So then Bando came to my birthday dinner the very next day. And I forgot y'all was here too. Like everybody was pretty much here just about. So Bando came to my birthday dinner. I was not expecting him to come. And I had not seen Bando since Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. We had went to a Friendsgiving event together. And I had not seen him since then. So that was February. So December, January. So it had been like 2.5 months since I seen Bando, and I was so happy to see him. And we were dressed alike, and we weren't even trying to be dressed alike, but that tended to happen with us all the time, right? So then that was like an amazing birthday weekend. Like that was like my first like birthday weekend, like as a Atlanta resident, and it was off the chain. You feel what I'm saying? Like off the chain. I enjoyed myself. What's up, Chandrika? I enjoyed myself. So then, as we start getting into the springtime of it all, you know what I'm saying? There was some things that were happening, and that is where Bando and I had kind of gotten into like this little weird space where we really wasn't talking. You know, he was hearing stuff, I was hearing stuff. The outside noise was getting to my head, outside noise was getting into his. So we wasn't beefing because I was still promoting his music, but we just wasn't speaking like that. Then I started working on my book. All of this was like February, March. So I had started working on my book. And me and Sheridan was working very closely on this. And she started on the edits. Well, she read the manuscript first, then she started on the edits. So this is where the book had started, and we was already saying we want a September release. We need a September release. And I was fine with a September release. And so I was starting to work on the book. Then I went to a production meeting for a reality show, like another web reality show that I won't name because I don't think that they would want me to name that show. And I don't even think they're coming out no more. So I had went to a production meeting for that. I even filmed twice with them. But then Carl came knocking on my door. And Carl said something about, I'm putting together this reality show, you know, because, you know, we both had tried out for Chasing and we didn't make it. Tramiel made it, but me and Carl didn't. So I was like, okay. He was talking about the show, the show that we're on. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I agreed to do the show, right? But then Carl came back later on that week and said, I'm letting you know now, we're casting Bando. And I was like, oh no, I'm not doing it. And then Carl was like, bitch, don't do that. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. Like, I'm not ready to do that. I don't want to do it now. I don't want to do it. So Carl was not budging. He really wanted me to do it. And my thing was, regardless of where me and Bando was during that time, I still cared about him and I still cared about the friendship itself. Fuck us dating. I still cared about him as a person. And I didn't know what the future held. So for me, I didn't want to do anything that would potentially hurt it, put a stain on it, whatever. Because regardless, my feelings were still there. I still cared. So I don't ever want to do anything that will tamper with that. That's how I felt. So I really wasn't ready for that. But I was like, okay. I took my personal out of it. And I said, I know what they're doing. I know what they want to do. This is a new show in the web world. Me and Bando were a topic of discussion. They see me and Bando on the same show, then they're going to want to watch it. I get what they're trying to do. So I took my personal out of it, and I thought about it from a business standpoint. So I went ahead and I did it, right? So, but I didn't want to film with Bando right away I had to get myself mentally prepared for that. I wasn't ready to do all that yet. I said, okay, I'll do the show, but I'm not ready to film with him yet. But then before I even started filming, Carl told me that Bando requested to film with me already. He had already said, I need to sit down with Scotty. I need to talk to Scotty. I want to talk to Scotty. I need to talk to Scotty. So I was like, okay, fine. You know what I mean? This is before I even filmed the very first scene with JT. Like, this was like weeks before. Because I knew that's who my first scene was going to be with, JT. So we start filming the show. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous as hell. Like, this is a new territory for me. I'm nervous, but I'm excited, but I'm nervous. And so it's May and we start filming. I filmed my first scene with JT like the first or second week in May. So I think we went maybe like 2 weeks without filming, and we picked back up that last week of May. We were picking back up the last week of May. And I knew that I think what, if I'm not mistaken, Carl had said we were trying to pick a day that Bando and I could film, right? And I think Bando picked the place for us to film. And I think Carl came and texted me. He was like, okay, you and Bando are going to film on June the 2nd. And I was like, okay. That was the day after Bando's birthday. So I go to the real life and reality event. Carl, Bando, and Dublevé was performing. Me and Jamar went to the event. That's when I ran into T-Spiller. And I confronted T-Spiller about what was said and all this other shit. And then, you know, he bared the hatchet with me, whatever. And so, soon as I saw Bando, soon as he saw me, we kind of ran up to each other and we was like, oh my God, I'm so glad to see you. Oh my God. It was just like, it wasn't no weirdness. It's like we literally hadn't really talked in quite some time. But no, Bando was a Gemini. But I literally hadn't talked to him. Like, we really haven't spoken like that. So this was like May the 31st that day. So we really hadn't talked. The last time I seen him was for my birthday. So it had been like 2.5 months since I seen him. And we was just vibing. We was vibing. And then he asked me, could I hang out with him for his birthday? And I said, you know what? You hung out with me for mine. So let's hang out. And so we hung before we got to the club. Carl and them went inside. Bando wanted to talk to me outside. So we had an emotional conversation. Me and Bando had the most emotional conversation ever. We talked about everything. We talked about feelings. We talked about the things that people were saying. We were talking about the narratives. We were talking about how we feel right now. We talked about everything, knowing we had to film 2 days from then. So we had like this emotional ass conversation where we just talked about everything. And he apologized for certain shit and all this other stuff. And I was like, you know, they want this on film and we're not filming. So, you know, they want this on film. And he was like, yeah, but you know, it's some things that we needed to talk about that cameras didn't need to be there for that. And I agree. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's certain shit we didn't mind talking about on camera, but then there was some shit we didn't want to talk about on camera. So we knew we would have to have this conversation again. But I knew that the emotional part, if y'all saw that conversation, y'all would have been way more intrigued than what y'all saw on the camera. But however, we had to do that for us because this ain't about no show for us. Like, this is real life. So we went into our very first scene and we kind of talked about everything that we kind of talked about everything that we spoke about outside the club. It was just less emotional because we already been there, done that, but we knew we had to talk, but on the show. And it was more that we talked about, but y'all didn't see that because we really got into the meat of it all on camera, but y'all didn't get to see that because some of that footage, again, at the very beginning, we didn't know what we were doing. This was Carl's first show, so that footage that had the meat and the potatoes of everything, that footage was fucked up. Carl had filmed that in slow-mo and didn't know it, so it was fucked up. So a lot of it y'all didn't get to see. That's why some people was watching and they was like, this comes across like they were very careful with what they were saying and things like that. No, a lot of that y'all didn't get to see. So, from that day forward, we kind of like just made this pact that no matter what, we're gonna have each other's back and we're gonna rebuild the friendship. So what y'all are seeing on the show right now is basically us rebuilding our friendship. So we decided to go into it like that. But as soon as it's like once we got back cool again, And then filming this show was great. Like filming it, getting into the things was just great. Like meeting Delon was cool. Doing this show with my best friend DJ was good, and Carl was good. But during this time, we were going right into the listening party, and that is when Carl found out that he was going to be on Chasing Atlanta. So we was like, Carl gonna be on Chasing Atlanta, so how are we gonna keep this show going? So Carl asked me, he said, bitch, Chasing just called me. So I'm about to go and do Chasing. I'm still gonna do the scene, but I know that Chasing gonna take a lot of my time. So I need for you to step up and anchor this show while I'm out filming Chasing. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I can anchor this. He said, bitch, yes, you can. Anchor this show while I'm doing Chasing. I'm still going to produce it. I'm still going to film everything. But I know I can't be on camera that much, being that I'm on Chasing. And I said, okay. So after this 4th episode, you really not going to see Carl like that. This 4th episode is the most you're going to see Carl, basically, because because there's the wind down, and then there's the Lunds event, and then this is the most you're gonna see Carl. This is the most Carl heavy episode. The most Carl heavy episode you're gonna see. But anything after that is just me. It's a whole bunch of me, all the way from episode 5 on down. Is pretty much me. Everything me, because I filmed a lot. After Carl left, like a lot, because at one point everybody was filming with me, but not with each other. Everybody was shooting with me. So are we gonna see the event where you had on the yellow and black on the show? Yeah, that's a part of the I don't want to give that away, but yes, y'all gonna see that. That's a big part of the show, actually. So yeah, I filmed a lot after that. So I'm filming the show, going to work every day, doing my lives, and working on my book. It's a whole lot going on. I spent the entire summer filming and working on my book. By August, I learned that I got in August, I learned what my release date was gonna be in August. Me and Sheridan talked it over, all that. And I was so glad that she was in Atlanta and she agreed to shoot a scene with me. You feel what I'm saying? So Carl and Sheridan both encouraged me to do a book release event and stuff like that. Carl actually was helping me look for an event, look for a venue. So you got to understand, as I told you guys before I moved to Atlanta, my car broke down before I even got here. So a lot of times when I'm going somewhere, I'm either with Jamar or I'm taking an Uber or a Lyft to where I gotta go. And where we stay out on the south side of Atlanta. So we are past like College Park. You know, like we passed like you gotta go past Hateville, you gotta go past um East Point, College Park, and then that's where we at. So we like 10, 15 minutes away from the airport. That's where we at. And so a lot of times when we would film, we was filming in the city. And the city is like 20 minutes away. So it's like we're going into the city to film a lot. So my Ubers would probably be like $30 a pop, depending on where we're going. And I Uber to work. And me Ubering to work, that's $10 a pop. Uber to work is like $10, but an Uber back home might be about an even $8, $7, whatever. So think about it. Paying for 2 Ubers to go to work, paying for probably about a $30-some Uber to get to where I need to go to film. Then I'm eating, then I'm paying my bills, all of that good jazz. And that was starting to add up. So, in addition to me paying for my publishing, every month I'm paying for my publishing. I remember being at Jamie's birthday party. And while we were sitting there waiting on Jamie to get there, I was looking at Peer Space and I was looking for a venue space and all this other stuff. I was looking for all that. And I was having such a hard time. And Carl found me something and I saw the price and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with that. But we only had to pay half and then come back and pay the rest. So I paid for that. But then everything that I had was starting to go downhill and I started tripping. Now, I don't know if my friend Ramon is still in here, but my friend Ramon, his husband, had just gotten a job offer in Charlotte. So they had to move immediately. Ramon was going to do my food. Ramon was going to do my decorations. Ramon was gone. But Ramon said, it doesn't matter if I'm gone. Charlotte is only 3 hours away. I can still come back and do what I need to do for you. Maybe 2 weeks before my event, he found out that his job wouldn't let him off. He tried his best to get off. They wouldn't let him off. So I'm like, fuck. I ain't got no food. I don't know how to decorate. So what can I do? I don't know what I'm going to do for food. So I'm stressing. I'm crying. I'm stressing. This needs to be an event. I was going to have more books so people can buy a book at the event, get it signed at all that. I had it all planned out. But then I was like, now I got to spend extra money. And I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do. So luckily, my friend Jarrell, who is also from Mississippi, he's a caterer, and he said, listen, I know that you're going through some shit right now, and this is a big thing for you, bro. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the family discount, and you ain't got to pay that much. So I'm going to give you, do it like that. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, I was like, cool. I'll give you the money, whatever. He said, just make up a menu and then I got you, bro. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. I love my straight friends. But so the food was good. Decorations didn't have none. So I'm just like, what am I going to do? But I wasn't going to let it bother me. We went to the Red Dress Run. We went to the Red Dress Run. It was me, Carl, Jamar, Tremel, Jeremy, Nikki, Rakisha, Shannon, and Tiffany and JB. We all went to the Red Dress Run. Great trip. Hot as fuck, but great trip. We had such a great time. Tremel was my roommate, my bed buddy. He was my roommate and all that. So, coming back from New Orleans, I think Jeremy went straight back to the airport, I believe. So I got back here, everything was fine. And then next thing you know, Jamar tells me, hey friend, I got some bad news. I'm like, oh my God, what? He says, so the Chasing Atlanta cash trip was supposed to be the week of October, the weekend of October, like the 3rd or something like. I don't want to say the wrong dates. When was it? He said the Chasing Atlanta trip is supposed to be the weekend of October the 3rd through the 5th, but being that one of the cast members have a family thing that weekend, we have to push it. We have to push the date up to September the 26th through the 28th, which falls on the same weekend as your book release. So now I cannot come, Carl cannot come, Tramel cannot come, and neither can Andario. So I was like, oh my God. And Jamar did what he could. He tried to fight them on that. He tried to figure out another day because he really wanted to be there, but it just couldn't happen. So I was so bummed because my core ATL crew, Jamar, Carl, Tramel, can't be there. I was so upset. I was so upset. Tramel was upset. Carl was upset. Jamar was upset. Everybody was upset. And Dario was upset. Everybody was upset. So I'm like, what more could go wrong? So one day, I was getting up to go to work, y'all. And I was trying to get myself an Uber. And I couldn't get an Uber. My card declined. So I'm like, oh. But I knew it was going to happen. Anytime I knew, I had a feeling it was going to happen because I was spending so much money. I had spent a lot of money on that damn venue. I had spent a lot of money for that publishing just then. My life insurance came out. It was just so much shit happening at that one time. And I said, oh my God, my card declined. That was on a Wednesday. I got paid the next day. So the pre-sales were going on, and I did big numbers with pre-sales. I wasn't expecting it. So luckily, I had my pre-sale money. So I wasn't really broke, but I had my pre-sale money. But however, if I wasn't broke, that pre-sale money could have went more into this venue and this party than anything. But because I needed to continue to survive, I had to use it. So it was just like, oh my God. Oh. So then after that, it was kind of like hold on. So then I got paid, YouTube paid me. I was able to pay my bills. My bills got paid. But after my bills got paid and the groceries were bought, I was penny pinching. I was penny pinching. I had never been like that. You know, normally Scotty always has money. Scotty normally has $3,000 to $5,000 in his account. That ain't a lot of money, but for me, that's a whole lot of money. So I normally have money. I never be worried about being broke. That's none of that. But during this time, I was spending so much money on so many things that I was going broke doing it. But it wasn't because I was just splurging my money on things that didn't matter. I was using my money to fund my book and every damn thing else that was going on. So The book release was coming. Nikki was on a flight. She was flying in from Chicago and things like that. And she told me, you're not going to stress out about this. I'm here to help you. So Nikki helped me. But I was still stressing. Everything that could go wrong was going wrong. I was just stressing. So Josiah, we didn't even know how we was gonna film the shit at first because Carl wasn't there. We almost thought JT wasn't gonna be there, but JT stayed so we can make sure this got filmed. So Josiah was a cameraman. Somebody else was cameraman. We had different people that wasn't working with us were cameramen, honey. We made sure this book release got filmed. My mama came, my daddy came, my sister came, my brother came, like, you know, my cousins came. It was everything. Bando got to meet my mama for the very first time. Like, Bando and my mother have a relationship. They talk, they argue about football. You know, anytime I'm with Bando, Bando say, call mom, I want to talk to mama. I FaceTime her, they get to talk. Sometimes I have to just walk away and let them talk. Cause they act like, you know, that's just what they do. So it was so, y'all get to see that on camera too. But they met, and he even met my dad. He met my daddy, he met my brother, he even met my sister, who I wasn't even talking to at that time. He met all of the important people in my life. And so when I first got there, I was stressing the fuck out. Cause the event was not the venue was not what I thought it was. See, this was my first time doing something like this. So I didn't know how Peer Space worked. So I thought that the space came with tables. I didn't know that would be extra. It had 2 couches in there, but I didn't know you had to pay for extra, like for tables and stuff like that. Because when Jarrell brought the food in, it wasn't no table to put the damn food on. So the dude that was over the venue, he said, I could give you a table, but that's going to be extra. So they consider that table and the microphone as an add-on. I didn't know that. Again, my first time doing all this shit, so I didn't know. However, everybody had a place to sit because there was like these long couches and everything. And I think I remembered saying that I wanted to come there hours before the event to set up. They told me I couldn't come there and set up before then. So it's just like I couldn't even do what I wanted to do. It was just everything about that just made me feel some type of way. I hated that. I hated the venue. I just hated everything about it. It was like, what? And the money was already spent. And I already had to spend extra for one fucking table and a damn microphone. It was $25 extra for the microphone, and it was $10 extra for a table just to sit the fucking food on. But luckily, we had those 2 long couches, one little area that they already had. It was like 1 table, but it was like a small table, and it was like a 3 to 4 chairs there. So everybody in there had somewhere to sit, thank God. So we didn't have to worry about that. But it just didn't go to, it just wasn't how I wanted it to go. But Josiah was like, listen, everybody that you love is here. The venue don't even matter. It don't even look that bad. It probably would look better if you had like some decorations, but who the fuck cares? We're just here to support you and all that other stuff. And you know what? Josiah and Nikki and Sakina, they all was calming me down. DJ, they were all calming me down. Delon, his boyfriend, they were all calming me down because I was ready to pop off. So then the event was pretty much it went better than what I thought. It did. It went better than what I thought. As stressed as I was that day, it went better than what I thought. This was the week of the release. So the book had been out for a couple of days. And I remember Sheridan was saying, well, we're looking for a top 80. I really feel like your fan base can pull you to a top 80. But guess what? I got to be in the top 70. My book peaked at number 66 or 67. It was one of them. So we were good with that. So, you know, long as that was fine, that's all that mattered to me. Like, I was fine with that. Everything, you know, everything went well with the sales. The pre-orders were through the roof and all of that. So then it was time for me to send out my books, the pre-order books. Once again, because I was going broke, I had to use my pre-sale money. If I had my pre-sale money along with my regular money, I would have been able to pay for everything for that venue, and I would have had my books delivered to everybody at a timely manner. But being that I was broke as fuck and I still had bills to pay, it took me a long time to send those books out. I got three, excuse me. I got two more, not three, but two more to send now. And I didn't even I had to go and get more books because the pre-order books that we did have, I wasn't expecting that many to be sold. So Sheridan was like, are you sure you don't want any more books? And I said, I don't really think that many people are going to buy those books. You feel what I'm saying? So I think the ones that you sent already, I think that's enough. I don't really think the pre-orders are going to be, you know, all that. But they were. I got more than what I bargained for with those pre-orders. So that lets me know next time, don't underestimate yourself. See, I underestimated myself, and I didn't think anyone was going to buy this book like that. I'm just happy to put a book out. You feel what I'm saying? So, let me see. Where are all those friends that love and support? They won't sleep in between. The thing is, Uncle Jay, they didn't even know about any of this. I didn't even tell them this. Jamar didn't even know. I didn't tell Jamar until after everything was over with. He didn't know. And a lot of them got mad with me because I didn't tell them. Because I like to try to do stuff by myself. I don't like asking nobody for nothing. I don't like doing, I just don't like it. So I don't like to ask for nothing. So I didn't ask them. I didn't tell them. They didn't know. They knew I was stressing about it, but they didn't know why I was stressing about it. I was stressing about it because I was spending a lot of money. You know, I was doing too much. Well, not really doing too much, but I'm doing what I was supposed to do. But I had bills. I had all this other different stuff, right? So that's why it took me so long to get my books to the people. I'm so glad that I was able to get them to them. And now I got two more to send, two more pre-orders to send out. And then I'll be done. But all I wanted was for everybody to get their books in a timely fashion. But it was beyond my control. And at the end of the day, I learned my lesson. These are lessons to be learned. I learned about these venue spaces. I learned about these pre-orders. Never, ever underestimate yourself. Never underestimate yourself. Please don't underestimate yourself. But I do appreciate, everybody was very patient with me sending them their book because they know I'm not on no scam and shit. Everybody was very much so understanding. They was like, they know we know we'll get our book. We know, because that's why I kept on saying, that's why every time I went to the post office, I always made a little short letting everybody know, okay, if you live here, your book is on the way. If you live there, your book is on the way. If you live here, your book is on the way. If you never got your book, please email me and let me know. I will make sure you get it, whatever. There's even people that were buying the book who did not know that you had to, do a pre-order on the PayPal thing so you could get a book. They thought that if you pre-ordered on Amazon, then, you know what I mean, that's how you get. No, that's not how you do it. And I was even trying to figure out a way for them to like, I was like, listen, how about this? I could do this, have the book sent here, I'll sign it, and you could give me an address or something. And then I was still trying to figure out, because people still wanted a book signed from me, even though pre-orders had been over. They still wanted a book signed from me. And I was still trying to figure out a way to give them that, because I just want them to have that, because all the support that I've been given by y'all, I wanted to make sure that they got what they wanted. So there were people that were DMing me saying, I want my book signed, I want my book signed, all that other stuff. I was finna buy my book, I want my book signed, and all this other stuff. So I was still trying to figure out a way to do that for them. You feel what I'm saying? And so I'm just blessed to have people who are not, who are just patient. Some people got their books for on Christmas Eve. You feel what I'm saying? Like it came out to be better than what we thought it was. So the book did well. I got my first check from it. It was amazing, honey. And I got my money back on point. It ain't where it normally would have been, but I'm getting financially, I'm good. So I didn't have to worry about nothing. I'm good. Nobody had to do anything for me. So that was September. The last day I filmed was October the 4th. Me and Bando filmed together. We closed the season out filming together. So by this point, Bando and I have gotten closer. Even more closer. You feel what I'm saying? And he kind of stepped up a lot. He kind of was, because I know when we first started dating, he was very guarded and closed off, and it was hard to kind of reach him. He would open stuff up, open up to me about a lot, but he was still kind of guarded, like, because I knew about his past and I knew what happened with the person before me. So I knew about all of that stuff, and I could understand why he was guarded as shit. He was guarded. But it was somewhere, I don't know what happened, but it was somewhere around September where I started to see a new side of Bando. Like, he was very open, affectionate like fuck, and just doing stuff he wasn't doing before. And that was a positive thing. It really was. And I enjoyed that, and it continued to happen. And even Carl noticed it. Carl was like, Carl, Bando have been amping this shit up. I don't know what's going on. Are y'all in a relationship right now? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, we're not. We're just, I don't know, but it's starting to make a turnaround. So it's kind of like, in a sense, it was like, I'm like, okay, maybe there's hope. I don't know. So that was in September when he first started, like, things kind of turned around in a sense, because like for most of the time that we were filming the scene, like I would say like the first few weeks, like the first 5 episodes, you see us kind of rebuilding our friendship. But by episode 6, you start seeing where Bando started to change for the better. And so it's just like, I think when he met my mama and them and my dad and my whole family and stuff, that kind of changed his outlook on things and stuff. I don't know, but it was a good change. So we was doing our photo shoot. I didn't get the suit that I wanted, because I was strained financially after paying for that book and paying for that venue, paying for every damn thing, all that, paying my bills, all that. I didn't get the suit I wanted. I knew I wanted a suit, but the suit that I had on, it looked good on Amazon, but when I put it on, I didn't like it. When I put it on, I said, I look like a damn funeral director. I don't like this, but it was too late. It was the morning of. I had not tried it on. or nothing, because normally when I buy a suit, I don't normally just try it on like that. I just put it on the day of, and whatever happens, happens. But I need to stop doing it. I need to start getting my shit tailored, because sometimes it be looking like I'm fat as hell, and everybody knows I'm a stick figure. So, I was like, okay, you feel what I'm saying? So we get to the photo shoot. Bando was sick, Carl was sick, but we still pulled through. DJ missed the photo shoot because he had to sing backup for Kelly the night before. He didn't get into Atlanta until about 20 minutes before the shoot was over, so he missed the shoot. That's why he's not in the shoot. But then I didn't like the outfit, but I worked with what I had, you know. Then the pictures came out. We had a great response when they first came out, right? And then we started promoting and things like that. So that's what we did most of October, November, was promoting. So I already knew that with this show getting ready to come out, bullshit was gonna be coming right alongside it, right? So I just chose, coming into this space, that I wasn't going to be responding to no negativity. I'm not going to you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to curse people out. I'm not going to be responding in these comments. I'm not going to do none of that. Any blog post about the show, I'm not going to look at it. I'm just not going to, any video about the show, I'm not going to look at it. I don't mind watching a review. I don't mind watching a review on the show, but anything else, I'm not going to watch it. You feel what I'm saying? So, I was like, okay. So I was ready for it. Like, I already knew what was coming with it. So then Bando came to me and Bando said, hey, do you have any more PTO? And I said, yeah, I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to use it. He was like, let's go to Mississippi for Thanksgiving. I said, okay. Are we going to like get a flight? Like, what we going to do? And he was like, well, no. I'm gonna get a rental. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take a road trip to Mississippi for Thanksgiving. I was just like, okay, cool. They wouldn't let me off. I was so mad. So I was so bummed out about it. And he had took off too. He had took off his days and everything. So I was so bummed. So he was like, well, even though we didn't get to go to Mississippi, we could still do something. So I was like, okay. Scotty has just started learning how to cook, okay? Jamar has been teaching me how to cook. I can cook a mean burger, and I could cook a mean thing of tacos, okay? So I didn't know what we was going to do for Thanksgiving. So I said, okay, I'll go get some liquor, and I'm going to cook tacos. We're going to have taco Thanksgiving tacos. That's what the fuck we going to do. So I had gotten off of work, bought the ground turkey, because I cook my tacos with ground turkey. And bought everything I needed for the tacos, and I bought like a bottle. Bando had came around like 6:30. And I was watching him, because this was his first time eating anything that I cooked. And then he ate my he had like 2 tacos and he ate them. And I saw him get up for seconds. And I was like, you did that, girl. You did that. So he ate, you know, he was good with that. And we were drinking and all that other shit, right? So then a live was coming on about our super trailer. And that was the night that I got into it with old girl. I'm not even gonna get into that like that, but Me and him was right here in this room, and you know what I'm saying? We was sitting here watching it on the TV. That's what was going on. We was sitting in my bed, laying in my bed, watching it on the TV. And the only reason why I was going up there is because I wanted to clarify something, because I think Trap was saying that, well, why is Carl explaining himself, explaining the fact that him and Scotty are best friends to Delon if this is supposed to be a friend group. And I came up there to clarify how everybody knows each other. So, you know, the people that I am best friends with was Carl and DJ. I was dating Bando. JT was an associate. I didn't know Delon. That's how it went. JT, she was close friends with Carl, Delon, acquainted with DJ, acquainted with Bando. That's how that happened, right? DJ, best friends with me, friends with Carl, friends with Bando, acquainted with JT, didn't know Delon. Okay? Delon, close friends with JT, cool with Carl, acquainted with Bando, didn't know DJ. I think y'all get my drift at this point. I don't think I have to go through that anymore. So that was the reason why I was actually going up there to clarify that. But it turned into something else. And me and her got into it. And the thing was, Bando kept telling me, literally, y'all know, Bando kept muting this mic. He kept muting his mic. And I kept unmuting it. He kept muting his mic. At one point, he made me get up and he sat down in a chair and stuff like that, you know. And he had told me before I started popping off that he said, it's not worth it. Don't do it, whatever. Bando doesn't really care about this type of stuff. See, he used to this. See, I'm not used to this. And I'm not here to let nobody disrespect me. So when I felt like I was being disrespected by that girl, that's when I popped off. But the thing was, even when I popped off, I was still respectful. Yeah, I called her a bag of bitches and all that stuff, but I didn't go low, right? It wasn't until I looked back at when he cut the live up and just put the parts where me and her were arguing it, where I heard the disrespectful shit that came out of her mouth. So for me, it was like, you know, I had like a teaspoon of respect for this girl. So that's why I didn't go all the way in on her like that. But she went all the way in on me. You feel what I'm saying? And they let me know that there was no respect for me at all. So that same day, me and that person had a conversation about the situation. We had a conversation about it. We squashed the shit and it was over. However, we squashed it, but we weren't going to be friends at all. We wasn't going to be friends at all. It was no way we could be friends after that. Like, it was, you know, we would never be friends because at the end of the day, she's not my type of girl. And I'm sure I'm not her type of guy either. Like, it's just, the personalities just don't mesh. Like, I don't vibe her. She don't really vibe me. And it just wasn't going to work. And I was completely disappointed by that whole crash out. And I see some of y'all in the comments saying that it was overdue and I didn't do nothing wrong. But I just pride myself on not showing out like that for everybody to see. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I pride myself on. I've never really done that. You really got to do something to me for me to pop off like that. And then, you know, the whole, you know, the threats about putting your hands on me, that really made me let loose when she threatened to fight me. Like, that was too much for me. I'm like, oh no, we ain't finna do that. So that happened. But then that's when I got into it with her, that's when certain people chose to come out and show their secret animosity towards me. You know, I saw Reese in the comments. Reed, Nicole, I see you. I seen other ones on other platforms screaming and shouting, twisting and shouting about me, but then in the same breath saying they ain't got no problem with me when they know they don't like me. It's okay. You feel what I'm saying? You know, it just showed me why I didn't like gay spaces at all. It just showed me why I didn't like gay spaces. I never fit into gay spaces, and people would always get upset whenever I would say that. But this is why. You feel what I'm saying? So me and Bando talked after that live, and we talked. We stayed up till about maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. We was laying in his bed talking to about 3 o'clock in the morning. To the point where I called off of work. I called out of work. I had to be at work in 2 hours. First of all, I didn't want to go because my mood was fucked up. Number two, ain't no way I'm finna get up and go to work at. It's already 3:30 in the morning. I got to be up in 30 minutes to go to work. So ain't no way I'm going. I called out. Bando tried to get me not to, but I said no, I'm calling out. So me and Bando was in his bed talking until we went to sleep. And his ass had me gripped, like, you know what I'm saying? So I felt horrible the next morning. I was embarrassed that next morning. That was the same day that I spoke to her, but I was embarrassed when I first woke up that morning. I even went live on Instagram that morning, and JT came into them comments and was like, "Get off of here! You didn't do shit wrong. Get your ass off of here!" Blah. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get off of here. 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 Too Feisty had Instagram me, and I was like, I already know what she finna say. And then we had talked and everything like that. I felt horrible. So I was like, okay. So after that happened, I said, I'm not gonna go. I'm just not gonna go to these spaces anymore because these spaces are not for me. These spaces ain't for me. I think that these spaces are just set up for me to show my ass, and I'm just not going back. Like, it's just not for me anymore. You know, that's just how I felt. I feel like it's just not meant for me to visit all these spaces like that, you know. And I didn't want to do that, but I just had to block out the negativity of it all because people were already trying to make this narrative that I cannot handle the criticism of being on a web reality show. They were already trying to make it seem like I couldn't handle it. They was already trying to make it seem like I was mad about what the fuck they had to say about my suit. Didn't give a fuck about that. Ain't none of you motherfuckers fashionistas. I don't care about what you got to say about my suit. I don't care about that. They were trying to make it seem like I was mad about what they said about the trailer. Did not care about the trailer. Did not care about what they had to say about it. Didn't care. This was personal. I felt like I was being tried. You know what I mean? I felt like I was being tried. So that's why I let loose like I did. It had nothing to do with no goddamn trailer, no goddamn cast photo. None of that. Because at the end of the day, this is what comes with it. They're going to talk about what we got on. They're going to talk about the super trailer. I do it all the time. We talk about the girls' fashions on the Housewives all the time. So what make you think I can't handle this shit? I ain't said nothing about nothing. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to bow the fuck out. I'm not doing it. Whatever. So I chose not to look at no post about the show. I chose not to comment on no post about the show. If I saw a video come across my damn homepage about the show, like a tea time, I'm not watching it because I don't even want to see the comments. I'm not watching it. I know I had went live again later on that day, and it was reposted on TTB. And I didn't even look at. I ain't go over there and watch that. I ain't want to look at the comments. I ain't want to do nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm not looking at that shit. I'm not gonna look at that and get my damn get my rage up again. Like, cause it was just too fresh. And I just didn't want to see that. You feel what I'm saying? So I was like, nah, I ain't finna look at none of that. I ain't finna look at that. So the show was coming out. And I was nervous, but I was excited. Nervous, but excited. But I will say this before we get into the show. Then that same morning that I went live, that same morning that I spoke with Feisty, that same morning, I did that while Bando was asleep because I woke up before him. And so I woke up, I saw that he was still sleeping. I got up and I went downstairs and I went in the kitchen and I started going live. And that's when, whatever. But then Bando had woken up, came downstairs, got him some more tacos. He heated up some more tacos so he can have something to eat. And then we talked. And he was basically like telling me that he was giving me my tens in so many words. Like basically telling me that, you're bigger than all of this. Like, you don't need to be worried about what people say. And whatever, like, gotta let it roll off your shoulder. You gotta let it do this. You gotta let it do that. They're gonna try to come for you, but you got a support system and it don't matter. You're bigger than this. So don't let this shit bother you, especially with this show coming out. Don't let it bother you and stuff. Like, we had a long conversation, and I felt better after that. And then, later on that day, Bando had left and he went home. And I had all day to think. And then, later on that day, me and her talked, moved on. So the show came out. And that's when the hate started coming out. From these people that I don't have any type of relationship with, didn't have no kind of beef with these folks, but they're coming out speaking on me, like even the other day, like under that post about, Bando and JT arguing on the second episode of The Scene. Mind y'all, like I said, I don't pay attention to any post regarding The Scene. I don't look at it. I don't do nothing because I don't want to see no comments. I didn't know that Travis Ware even said anything about, tried to shade me under that post until JT told me. I didn't give 2 fucks. Didn't give a damn. I had already seen that nigga already a year ago. Had already seen him. I saw him at the Boss Baby Awards last year. Me and Jamar were together. And the biggest thing is we didn't have no beef. He was on that show, the group chat, or something along the lines of that. And he I think I had said something because I think he works for Tamar or something like that. And I think I said something along the line. I think I said that I feel like I think your opinion is coming from, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said something along the lines of, it comes across biased because it was about K Michelle and Tamar, and he was going in on K Michelle. And I had felt like, well, I think there's a bias there because you work closely with her, but that's just my opinion. And he got mad and came in the comments and tried to, nook if you book. And I said what I said and all that other stuff. And I was just like, okay, well, so did I when I said what I said when I put it in the chat. It's just my opinion. It ain't that deep. And that was it. Ain't like me ever since. So it's just like that was weird, but okay. So to know that he was under that post, hey Dre Simber, he was under that post trying to shade me. That was kind of weird, but okay. Ain't nobody, it ain't even no beef. But but the show came out and we got a great response from it. Of course, people were talking about, like the audio at first and the scenes being too long, and we all agree with that. Even us on the cast, we agree with that. I would say that this third episode, was actually better than the other two episodes. The audio was better. The scenes were an even kill, and everything was fine. So, everything turned out to be good. You know what I mean? Like, the show is actually doing well. I enjoy, listening to the reviews and shit like that. Like, I literally enjoy listening to the reviews of the show. Like, I do. I enjoy listening to the reviews. And one thing about him, two things certain, Dre Simber is in here. Dre Simber gave me this, Dre Simber said something to me in my DMs. I think he said that he really enjoyed me on the show, and and I was such a natural. He wasn't expecting me to be a natural or something like that. And I was like, well, damn. That means a lot coming from you, because if you know anything about Dre Simber, if Dre Simber don't like something, Dre Simber gonna say he don't fucking like it. Okay, so for him to say that I was a damn natural and that I did well on the show and that I'm doing well on the show, for him to say that, I'm like, okay, give me my tens. Okay, do that. I was very surprised by that, but I didn't, because I was so nervous going into this, and it was like after every scene I'd be like, did I do good? JT was like, yes. Carl was like, bitch, you did good at every scene you was in. What are you talking about? And I was like, okay, I wasn't sure if I did good or not, but everybody told me I was doing good or whatever in the scene. And so but I will say that I shared a lot on the show. I was very honest on this show, and I think I shared more than what I wanted to. The only thing that was bothering me at the beginning, but it doesn't bother me anymore, is that people were trying to say that me and Bando's relationship was fake. As if these bitches are anybody for me to fake something for. I ain't never been the type to fake anything for anybody's entertainment. Ain't nothing fake about me and Bando's relationship. Nothing is fake about that. What you guys are seeing is the fact that me and that man had separated in last December. And we had hung out for my birthday, and we wasn't really speaking between March, April, and May. We started back talking right at the beginning of us filming this show. This show forced us to deal with each other, and be around each other a lot more. And it didn't hurt us. It helped us. It helped us a whole lot. That's why we are where we are now. So we ain't got to fake nothing for y'all. It's just crazy to me how people really believe that that my ass would sit up here and try to fake a damn relationship for the sake of a storyline. When I was the one who told Carl, if I'm going to do this show, I'm not going to fake shit for nobody. I'm not going to get on here and be phony. I'm not going to get on here and stage shit. I'm not going to do none of that. None of this shit. Everything you're going to see from me is real. I'm not going to get on here and fake for nobody now. I'm not doing that. And I made that clear. So it is what it is. Come on now. I ain't got to fake for nobody. That's my whole thing. So, grab Bando and pull up on me at Bulldogs Thursday, child. I'm outside all week when I touch down. Tequila sunrises and shade. You know what? I just before I went live, I was on FaceTime with Bando, and I'm gonna see if he wants to go, because I was definitely talking about trying to go out sometime this week because I haven't had a chance to meet you yet. So that would be nice. That'll be nice. So we're gonna see. Yeah, that's that, and that's New Year's Day. So we're gonna see. Okay. Um. So everything, the scene, everything going good with the scene. It's a lot that I'm looking forward to y'all seeing. Christmas rolled around, and because we didn't get to go to Mississippi for Thanksgiving, Bando was like, well, "What about Christmas?" Couldn't go. Why? My manager was like, "Well, I'm going home for Christmas." So I'm like, so what did we do? We did what we did last time. He came here, and this time I said I wanted to cook tacos so bad, but I didn't. So I got pizza instead and some alcohol. And then on Christmas morning, Bando got up and cooked breakfast. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. He got up and cooked me breakfast. That's so sweet. It was so, but the thing was, he had me watching all these damn scary movies and shit. Like, how are we watching Saw on Christmas? Like, why are we watching like some shit like Home Alone or some shit like that? Why are we watching Saw and Chucky and shit? Like, why are we watching this today? It was crazy, but all in all, my Christmas was great, right? So I said all that. I went down my whole timeline of my year, and I'm saying all of that to say this: 2026. I don't go into any year with any New Year's resolution. I don't do that. I have goals, but I don't go in there with New Year's resolutions. But what I will say is that 2025 was a lesson. And a lot of those lessons were not negative. Some of those lessons were negative, but a lot of them were. In 2025, I learned not to underestimate myself the way that I did. If I didn't underestimate myself, I would have had better control over my pre-orders because I did not think that those pre-order sales were going to go through the roof the way that they did. Like, no clue. Did not think that. Next time, I know better. That's the first one. The second time around, I didn't even mention the fact that I won my third Boss Baby Award this year. Didn't think I was going to win it either. But, do what you put your mind to. Sheridan reached out to me last year about putting a book out. I didn't come to her until the top of the year, and we got this book out, and it did well for me, and it's still selling. That's all I'm saying. Number 3, just because people are your family, that don't mean that they're your family. I love family. I'm a family-oriented person. I love everybody, but gone are the days where I'm gonna put up with you just because you're family. Like, if you ain't doing me right, if you're not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not treating me correctly, if I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna do that at all. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not. So there are certain people in my family that I chose to cut off. There are certain people in my family I chose to go no contact with, and it's been great. I don't need that negativity in my life. Next thing was, don't go somewhere where it's gonna fuck with your energy. Don't give people your presence when they don't even want your presence. Like, don't even do that. Don't read stuff is gonna piss you off. Don't do that. So I chose to avoid things like that, right? Don't listen to outside noise. Don't listen to outside noise. People can post, people can talk, people can say whatever the fuck they want to say about Bando, but that's me. So other people's opinions about him really don't matter to me. I don't give a fuck at this point. I don't care. So, say what you want. You don't know him. I do. It is what it is. We know what we got going on. Some of y'all just don't, and that's fine. It is what it is. But one thing about it, and 2 things for certain, ain't nothing fake about that. I was just with that man yesterday. Ain't nothing fake about that at all. So it is what it is. Um, what else is going on? Learn that the hating is fuel to your fire. Since this show done came out, I have seen the hate loud and clear. And one thing about me, I am probably one of the nicest people around this bitch. So for people to hate on me the way that they have been is so crazy to me. Motherfuckers, I ain't got no issue with coming out having the issue. You feel what I'm saying? And if you want to spin the block, spin the block. Sometimes the first trip, sometimes the second time around is probably the best time around. That's what I've learned, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Stay tuned. And my biggest one, never underestimate your support system. Scotty Gang has shown up so much, especially over like Thanksgiving was when I really knew that I really got a gang behind me. Like I really got a gang behind me. I did not realize that. It was so many of y'all, you know, sticking up for me, going hard, riding a dime, going to war on my behalf. Like I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate all of those things. Scotty Gang forever. My goals, though, for 2026, another book. I'm already getting ready. I'm gonna share it in my manuscript for the second book at the top of the year. Me and Josiah got a podcast that we're gonna start working on at the top of the year. Josiah will be back and forth to Atlanta. We're gonna do it in person. It's gonna be called the Bestie Chat Podcast. We're gonna talk about friendship stuff, relationship stuff, whatever we want to talk about. Anything about a ship, we're gonna talk about it. So me and Josiah got a podcast coming out, and I'm very excited to do that. And if I'm gonna do a podcast like that, then why not? Why not do it with Josiah? The Scene ATL season 2. We'll be filming it. We'll probably start back filming the Scene season 2 spring, summer. Probably like April, May, June, somewhere in there. We got the reunion coming up soon. What else is going on? Music content. Definitely getting into that. Heavy this year. I got so many things in my head. Definitely getting into that. All of that. Like I do have a lot of plans this year for my platform. And all that. So I am definitely here for the things, y'all. So I hope I didn't bore y'all with this. I enjoy doing these type of lives. But y'all know Scotty gotta go to sleep. But you know, ain't no shows coming on, so y'all gonna get some videos. Like y'all gonna get some videos tomorrow. Like I get off at 1. I'm probably gonna come home and take a nap first. And then I'm probably gonna give y'all a video about the Shamie and Portia shit, because I heard they almost got the fight on their cash trip, and I gotta talk about that tomorrow. Y'all probably gonna get a story time tomorrow night. Like y'all gonna get something, because I know ain't no shows gonna be on. So we gonna give y'all something, y'all. So I'm out of here. I appreciate everybody that showed up. Shout out to Dre Simba, who was in here. All my moderators from Brandon, Catherine, Gabby, Patches, Parker Boy, Miss Dee Dee, Kimmy, Too Feisty, Harold. Let me see. Michelle's daughter, Prophet. Y'all know I love Prophet. Let me see who else is up in here. I see 2 members in here. Uncle Jay, Miss Ann. Let me see who else is in. Sharice. I got so many moderators. Uniquely Destiny's in here. She reviews our show. Shout out to you. Let me see. I think that's all my moderators is in here. Norris. I think that's everybody. Soulful Dog, Ravine. I think that's all the moderators that were in here. All the people that watch. Thank you guys for watching. You know, I appreciate that. And as a matter of fact, I also got to finish the whole Keisha Cole baby brother story. I got to finish that. I might do that Tuesday. No, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it sometime tomorrow. So yeah, we got some videos coming tomorrow. I got y'all. But I'm about to go on, get up out of here, and I will see you guys on the next one.
Get that 20, yeah, you always been a sneaky bitch, hating from the sidelines, trying to get picked, yeah. You don't found one, yeah, you don't found one. You don't found one, found you a real one. On my assets lately, you catch a face, shots fired, catching babies. Heavy on the highs, better get you some gravy. Cut that lady check, why you out here being lazy? I got bored with that season, I'm talking shit when I'm spitting. Fact a bitch, I'm the reason, when it got you hoes heated. Snow got them hoes sneezing, got the meals you not eating. Where had them hoes leaking, God trust when I'm speaking. It's getting
big bands gon' make it hot. Real niggas gonna come up, don't let the game gon' change us. Real niggas in my sucker hole, don't ever play us. This the real hustle, we make the money, don't make it make us. They ain't bout shit, talking out they neck. Bitch, we bring the heat every time we step. You fucking with a beast, fucking with the best. Get money on the east, plug on the west. Bitch, I'm from the north, but we run it south. Bitch, we outside, what you talking about? Who the fuck is me? No, who the fuck is you? Get these niggas.